Hi, it's Ginger Walker, and welcome to this episode of The Give Back. Today we're spotlighting a charity that's local to the Fredericksburg area. It's the Owen Lea Foundation, and today I'm joined by Owen's parents, Randy and Karen, as well as one of their board members, Deb Ellis. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So today what I'd like to learn and introduce everyone else to that's viewing today, a little bit about the charity. But before we talk about the charity, I know that the charity is named after your son. So could you share with us a little bit about who your son was and how the charity began?
Okay. Owen was born in South Africa. So I'm in the Foreign Service with the State Department. Mm-hmm. And we were posted there back in 2000 to 2003, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Owen was born there. We came back here to Virginia right after we left there for an assignment here in Washington for me. And about 2 weeks after we moved back, it was just before Owen's second birthday, we were at a barbecue across the street. And Owen, we noticed that he had stopped walking. So we took him into the emergency room at Mary Washington. They diagnosed him with a bone infection. So they gave him some IVs to do at home. Unfortunately, didn't do the trick. So we took him back in and they immediately sent us to VCU in Richmond, where about a week later, I believe, he was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma.
So can you tell us a little bit about what is neuroblastoma for our viewers who don't know what that is?
Mm-hmm. Neuroblastoma is a cancer. It's a childhood cancer that affects the central nervous system. Mm-hmm. And because it affects the central nervous system, it gets into the bone marrow and it travels through the whole body. Most of the time, the primary tumors are by the adrenal glands. Mm-hmm. But they're hard to diagnose because the children are so young that they do, like Owen, they can't express that they're hurting. We just thought he was a whiny child, mm-hmm. honestly. But then once he started with the chemo, he was a completely different person because the pain was going because the tumors were shrinking. Anyway, a neuroblastoma is a very, very hard to treat childhood cancer. It affects about 660 children a year in the US. The relapse chances are really, really high. And like Owen relapsed 6 or 7 times, I think we lost count at some point. And at some point, if it hits the brain area, then it's really difficult because the chemos don't work in the brain as well as they do in a body. Mm-hmm. There are advances in the development of medicine, but it's still not there. They don't have a cure. There is no known cure. Some kids never relapse and they're doing fine. There's always that chance, though. You're never completely out of the woods. We know a couple of people that thought they were fine. They were clear for 10 years, and all of a sudden it rears its ugly head. Wow. It's dormant for a while. Mm-hmm. It's just really, really tough to get rid of, and it's a nasty cancer.
Once the child relapses once, mm-hmm. the survival chances are almost zero at that point.
Wow, my gosh. So as far as how many times he relapsed, and he was diagnosed at the age of 2, mm-hmm. So can you share with us a little bit about what happened, and we can share with the audience that's watching that he has passed.
Yes, he has.
And
he
how old was he when he passed away?
He was almost 8, so he's 7, but he was 2 weeks shy of his 8th birthday. Yeah.
So, as after he passed, was it at that point that you started the foundation, or when did the foundation come into place?
It's funny because the foundation actually started before he passed. Mm-hmm. Our good friend Carson Edmondson, who is now the president of the foundation, mm-hmm. and lives across the street, mm-hmm. he started the foundation before Owen passed. We were still in the hospital with Owen on hospice care, mm-hmm. and he already started. He came to you, didn't he?
Yeah, he called me.
Yeah.
And he needed some information. And he said he kind of took a leap of faith, I think is how he put it.
Yeah.
Because he started the foundation without even asking us, for reasons that aren't really that important right now. But it was probably about 2 or 3 weeks before he passed, and he needed some information from me. So he called me in the hospital and kind of said, well, and by the way, we started this foundation, but he put it out there as, we've done this, in a short-term basis just for now, and then, we can all talk about it later and decide how we want to continue with it. Mm-hmm. And that was 9 years ago. So obviously we continued with it.
Wow.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And so we have Deb Ellis, who's one of the board members and also a colleague of mine. And could you share with us just when did you get involved with the foundation and your role with the organization?
I was one of the founding members as well. Okay. So another good friend of the Lees had reached out to me when Owen had relapsed and was back in the hospital and had said, this family needs help, and I know you have connections. Can you help us with things like yard work and keeping the HOA, so that they wouldn't hurt this family anymore, and as well as meals or whatever they need. Mm-hmm. And at that point, that's when I had sat with Carson and met Carson and said, well, the first thing we need to do is form a foundation so that legally we can fundraise on their behalf. And so that's really kind of how I started, was right there when we were trying to help them out without them even knowing what we were trying to do. We joined together and joined forces, and hence 9 years later we've helped a lot of families.
Yeah. That's amazing. So Randy, can you tell us a little bit about what the foundation offers as far as services are?
Sure. Well, first of all, our slogan is living with neuroblastoma. So that's what we help the families do. So we provide financial assistance to any family that has a child living with neuroblastoma. And it's only neuroblastoma. Our charter prohibits us from helping any families that have a child with a different type of cancer. So we provide financial assistance primarily, and we help them out with everything from medical copays, transportation to and from treatment centers. We help them with groceries, lawn care, mortgage payments, rent payments. We pay a lot of utilities. We get calls from families saying that they're literally about to lose their electricity, and we step in and we pay that, and we usually pay it for a few months. Sadly, a large part of the grants we provide are for funeral expenses, because that's generally how a neuroblastoma story ends, and the funeral expenses, as most people know, are extremely high.
So to talk about something a little bit more fun, I know that there's a big event coming up this weekend that is one of the charity functions that you do. You have a cat in your hair.
That's fun. It's kind of nice.
We have to have a little bit of fun, right? But so Deb, could you share with us a little bit about the function that's coming up? And is this the biggest charity fundraiser that you have for the year?
This is our biggest foundation benefit that we do have annually. And once again this year, Brock's down in downtown Fredericksburg has chosen our foundation to be the benefactors, and so we are doing the Bartender's Ball. We will co-run it with them, where there are 9 bars this year that are joining, and they have all come up with unique drinks to go with the theme, and the theme this year is Hollywood, so that'll be really nice. And then they'll be upstairs, and then the event opens around 7:30, and it's a ticketed event. You can still get tickets. They are $50 a person. There will be some light appetizers, and there will be an open bar for 1 hour, and all of the drinks and specialty drinks that you get to taste from all the 9 bars that are there are all for free also.
Oh, that's amazing. So, and then what other functions do you do throughout the year? Do you have other events that people can watch for?
Yeah, we also do an annual 5K, 10K family fun run, and that will be coming in June. June 2nd.
So you can go to the Bartender's Ball, eat and drink, and then go and do the run. So
that's right. You'll have plenty of time to get in shape. That's right. We also have a golf tournament coming in the fall, I believe, is the date that one's coming.
At the fall.
Yeah. So, and then we periodically get different people that come to us that say they would like to do a foundation charity event of some sort throughout the year. And in the past, we've done things like bingos, basket bingos. We've done bowling.
I can't imagine, but what a beautiful way to honor your son. By starting the foundation and being able to help other families that are walking in the shoes that you walked in. So thank you so much for sharing the story. And can you tell everyone how, if they would like to get more information or in contact or make a contribution to the organization, to Owen Lea Foundation, how can they reach you?
Best way is our website. It's owenleafoundation.org. It's Owen Lea, L-E-A, foundation.org.
And do you have a Facebook page too?
We do, and you can like us on Facebook as well.
The Owen Lea Foundation, or also on Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.